Hello everyone. Today we are going to determine the area of a regular polygon, and this is the third part. I will put the link of the first and the second part in the description box below. So in this third part, the side length is the one that is given to us. So in this picture that we have here, we count the number of sides. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is 5. So then this is a pentagon. So we're going to determine what is the area of this pentagon. So first we go through the steps. So the first step here is to determine the sum of the interior angles of a polygon using this formula. Again, there is another video that talks about the sum of the interior angle of a polygon, which is equal to 180 times n minus 2, where n is the number of sides. Again, I will put the link of that video in the description box below. So this is the formula to find for the sum of the interior angle. So in this case right here, the sum of the interior angle, that's SIA. So that is sum of the interior angle is equal to 180 times n minus 2. So in this case here, our number of side is 5. So that's 180 times 5 minus 2. So that is that's going to be a 3. So that's 180 times 3 is 540. So the sum of all the measures that we have here is 540 degrees, which means that each of the red corners that we have here will have a sum of 540. So if we know the measures for one angle, since this is a regular polygon and it's equiangular, so all of the angles are equal. So then if you add all of these red corners here, it will sum up to 540. So how do we find the measure of just one red corner over here? So each interior angle, so I'm going to write each interior angle will be equal to 540 divided by, there are 5 of them, so 540 divided by 5 is 108. So each of the corners here would be 108. So I'm gonna write 108 for each of these, so that if you add all of these 108, it will get the sum of the interior angle would be 540. So we're now ready to move on to the second step. So provided that this one is our center, so let's just assume that that's the center right here. So the second step is to divide this into pieces. So we're gonna divide it into, this is like a pentagonal pizza, and then we are going to divide it into 5 triangles. So I divide it into 5 equal triangles, and then we are going to cut just one triangle once we know the area of, because it's difficult to find the area of just the whole polygon. So we need to break it down to come up with a triangle so that we can use this equation for the area of a triangle right here. So since this is 108, it means that this angle was bisected. Bisected means it was cut in half. So each of these would be 54 and 54. The same thing for this, 54 and 54. So each of these angles will be 54 and 54. So the same thing for this would be 54 and 54, and the measure right here was 10. So if we are going to drop a line right here, so I'm gonna drop a line, height of this triangles, I'm gonna drop a line right there, and so this is a right triangle right here. So then I am going to take one piece of this triangle. So I'm gonna take this out of here so that we can look at it and determine the area for that piece. So I'll take that off of there. So I'm gonna put that over here. So I will make it big. So I will enlarge it. So this is the triangle. So what I did was I took this piece, I put it up here. So then these are the measures for this piece. So first we have this height right here is missing. So let's name this as the height. So this is the height of this triangle. Since this is a height, this bisects this length right here, so that this is a 5 and this is a 5, since the whole thing was 10. So this was bisected. Bisected means it was cut in half, so 5 and 5. And the measure for this angle here was 54. And so we have determined that over here. So that's 54 right there. So what are we going to do is I will take half of this triangle only and determine the area for this half. So I put that over here. So I'm going to label it. So this one right here is 54. And then this side right here is our height, which is missing. We don't know what's the measure for that height. But this one right here is 5. Now, if we label the parts from 54 degrees, our height is actually the opposite. And the 5 here is the adjacent. So we have an opposite and adjacent. So we're going to use the TOA. Opposite over adjacent. So to set up the equation, because we don't know what the height is, but we have an adjacent, so we're going to use the TOA. So that would be tangent 54 equals opposite. The opposite is the height. So I'm going to write height there over the adjacent is 5. Remember, this is having an invisible denominator of 1. And so I can cross multiply these two. So cross multiply these two. So I am left with height is equal to, that is 5 times tangent of 54, because I am pairing these two up. So we use the calculator to find the height. Again, be sure that your calculator is set up in degrees. And the answer to this is supposed to be 6.88. So if you don't get 6.88, most likely your calculator is not set up in degrees. So then we go ahead and plug this in. We need to determine what is the area for this triangle. So that means the base that we have is 5. That's the one that we have over here. The height that we got was 6.88. Divided by 2, that's part of the area formula for a triangle. So this, the total for this is 17.2. I rounded it off. And so to find the total area, we are going to plug in the values now. So the area that we got in step 4, which is 17.2, n refers to the number of sides, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I write 5 here. Times 2. Now again, I will explain again why do we multiply this by 2. So we actually, this 17.2 that we got here is the area of this half of the triangle. So this is 17.2 is the area for half. Now for every n, so for every side length, there are 2 of them. So that means for every side length, there are 5 side lengths, there are 2 triangles that has a 17.2 area. So that's how we come up with this equation. So then from here, we go ahead and multiply these all together. And this should come out 172. And this is the total area. This is the area of the polygon. If you find this video helpful, hit like and subscribe for more math videos. See ya!